Imagine you're walking alone through a dense rainforest on a tranquil morning. Sunlight filters through the canopy, scattering golden fragments across the damp earth. Birds sing, cicadas hum, a peaceful, unchanging world. Or so it seems. Then suddenly, there's an unusual rustle. A long, dark shape dives from the treetops. You look up, and what soars over your head is not a bird, not a bat. It's a flying snake. If these silent, cold-blooded hunters of the earth were no longer bound by it, if snakes could fly, what would our world become? Right now, Earth is home to over 3,900 species of snakes. They thrive everywhere, from scorching deserts to misty rainforests, from underground burrows to deep, winding rivers. Some are no longer than a human finger, barely 10 centimeters long. Others, like the giant anaconda or reticulated python, stretch up to 9 meters. Snakes are patient predators, silent, calculating, deadly, but they are limited. They crawl, they climb, they strike, yet they cannot fly, except for a rare few. Deep in the forests of Southeast Asia lives the Chrysopelea, also known as the flying snake. By flattening their bodies and leaping from tree to tree, they can glide short distances, 20, maybe 30 meters. But gliding is not flying. Flying means freedom. Flying means dominance. Flying would change everything. Now, imagine an alternate branch of evolution. Millions of years ago, a different path was taken. Instead of remaining earthbound, certain snakes developed thin, elastic membranes stretching between their ribs, forming primitive wings. Over countless generations, these membranes evolved, stronger, wider, more efficient, until snakes could truly take to the skies. Sounds impossible. Evolution has done stranger things. Fish once crawled onto land and became amphibians. Dinosaurs grew feathers and became birds. Why not snakes, becoming creatures of the air? In such a world, the skies would no longer belong to birds. Picture dawn breaking over the rainforest. The canopy stirs with life, birds calling, monkeys chattering, bats retreating to their caves. But then silence falls. A flying pit viper sweeps down like a phantom, coils mid-air, and strikes a sparrow before vanishing back into the shadows. Flying snakes wouldn't just adapt to the skies, they would dominate them. Birds, bats, even squirrels would become their prey. But nature favors competition. With new territory comes new predators. Imagine a winged king cobra, nearly 5 meters long, gliding effortlessly over rivers and grasslands, striking from above with lethal precision. For humanity, this new world would be a nightmare. No place would be safe. Forest trails, abandoned, campgrounds, impossible without armored shelters, suburban parks and open fields, dangerous hunting grounds. Cities would need protective domes to keep the skies at bay. Children could no longer play outside without fear. Agriculture would collapse. In some regions, flying snakes would devastate livestock, poultry farms, and wild game. Food chains would unravel. Transportation would suffer too. Highways lined with protective netting, airports under constant surveillance, passenger jets flying alongside swarms of territorial serpents. the global economy would shudder under the weight of survival. And ecosystems? Total chaos. When a ground predator suddenly rules the skies, nature breaks. Bird populations would plummet, mammals hiding in the treetops, squirrels, sugar gliders, bats would vanish. Pollination patterns would collapse as fewer birds spread seeds. Entire forests could die. Even oceans wouldn't be safe. Imagine sea snakes, already deadly hunters, evolving. Wings nesting on islands, striking fishing boats, spreading to new continents. Humans, of course, would fight back. Sonic repellents, electromagnetic nets, aerial drones, technologies designed to reclaim control. But evolution doesn't stop. Flying snakes would adapt, becoming faster, stealthier, deadlier. In this battle, time would always favor nature. Could this ever truly happen? Science offers an unsettling answer. Maybe. To evolve flight, 3 conditions must be met. Lightweight bodies, lift, energy. Snakes already have lightweight, flexible skeletons. If their ribs evolved into wing-like structures, similar to prehistoric pterosaurs, the physics could work. The real challenge is energy. Flight demands rapid metabolism, large lungs, and high caloric intake. Snakes would need to fundamentally rewrite their biology, perhaps even evolving into semi-warm-blooded creatures to maintain body heat while soaring. And yet, the Chrysopelia proves nature is capable of early aerial adaptations. Given millions of years, could snakes truly leave the ground behind? Step by step, here's how it could happen. First, tree-dwelling snakes glide farther to hunt across wider gaps. Then, individuals with broader membranes and stronger muscles survive better. Over millennia, gliding turns into true flight. Bird populations crash. Snakes seize control of the skies. Finally, humanity retreats under protective barriers, ceding vast stretches of wilderness to aerial serpents. The skies, once filled with songbirds and swallows, would darken with scales and wings. Looking up would no longer bring comfort, only fear. Is that a passing crow or a coiled shadow preparing to strike? In this world, we would no longer be apex predators. We would be prey. But perhaps the most haunting truth lies not in the fantasy, but in the reminder it carries. Nature is never still. Evolution is relentless. It rewrites existence in silence, carving new rulers and burying the old. Today, snakes are bound by the earth. But in 1,000,000 years, if one day shadows of scaled wings blanket the sky, humanity will face a chilling question. Will we learn to coexist or become the feast? And when the skies belong to serpents, what will evolve? To hunt them